When your cat walks all over you at night, do you truly understand what exactly she is trying to tell you? To an outsider, it might seem like a random whim, an annoying habit, or just a part of her nightly madness. But behind this behavior lies something much deeper that most owners simply do not notice. This is one of the clearest messages your cat can send when the house goes quiet. By the way, how often does your pet arrange such nightly strolls, and at what specific time does it usually happen? Write about it in the comments. It will be interesting to compare the behavior of your favorites. And if you react to this incorrectly, as most people do, you risk breaking that very invisible thread of trust that your pet has been building for years. Let's figure out why they choose this exact moment. First, they are checking to see if you are all right. Have you ever wondered why a cat always steps specifically on your chest, throat, or face? Of all the places on the bed, why these specific zones? The answer lies in the biology of survival. These are the very spots where your breathing and heartbeat are most obvious. Your cat is not just wandering around aimlessly. She is conducting a vitality check. In the wild, sleeping next to a fellow creature that has stopped moving and breathing is a signal of a deadly threat. When a cat steps on your chest and feels it rise or catches the warmth of your breath, she confirms one critically important thing. You are still here, you are safe, and therefore, she is safe too. There is a reason they do this at night and almost never during the day. When the lights go out in the house, cats lose their familiar visual cues. You do not move, you do not speak, you do not react. To them, you literally go offline. At this moment, their instincts take over, forcing them to come out for a check. But there is an even deeper reason why a cat chooses you as a landing pad at 3 in the morning, and it is rooted in their infancy. I have saved this fact for last because it completely changes the perception of every nightly stroll over your ribs. Secondly, they are secretly marking you as their property. Have you noticed that a cat rarely just sits down nearby? She needs to physically walk over you like a sidewalk. In fact, a complex chemical process is occurring at this moment. Cats have specific scent glands located between the pads of their paws. A study by the University of Lincoln showed that in households where several animals live, this behavior occurs many times more often. Every step across your skin or clothing is the application of an invisible chemical signature that literally screams to any other animal. This human is taken. This is not just random affection. It is a biological necessity. During the day, you take a shower, go outside, touch other objects and people, perhaps even other animals. By the time you go to bed, the scent of your cat left yesterday is practically erased. Therefore, every night they perform a factory reset. By stepping on you, they renew their ownership rights, claiming their most valuable resource. Thirdly, they heard something that you completely missed. Has it ever happened that you are fast asleep, and suddenly the cat freezes right on your stomach, staring into the void or at the door? This is not paranoia. According to data published in the journal Animal Cognition, cats are capable of distinguishing frequencies up to 64,000 Hz, while human hearing is limited to the 20,000 Hz mark. This means that your pet is reacting to sounds that literally do not exist for you. The creak of a pipe behind the wall, the steps of a small rodent in the attic, or the click of a refrigerator relay in the kitchen, you slept through all of it, but not your cat. And here is what is interesting. Feeling a potential threat or just a curious noise, a cat instinctively seeks the highest and warmest point in the room to assess the situation. At night, you turn out to be that point. You are the tallest, most reliable, and most familiar object in the room. Instead of running and hiding, the cat climbs onto you, using your body as an observation post. She knows that you are her main ally, and her presence on your chest at this moment is a supreme act of trust and joint defense. Fourthly, your body is their personal heater. Why does a cat always choose the hottest spot on your body? This is pure thermodynamics. A cat's body temperature at rest fluctuates between 38 and 39 degrees Celsius, which is higher than the human norm. This means they lose heat faster, especially at night when the temperature in the house drops and there is no sun. Ethology researchers note that cats do not just lie down anywhere. They scan you. Have you noticed how a cat walks slowly across your legs, pauses on your stomach, moves to your chest, and only then settles down? This is not a random route. It is the creation of a heat map. With the help of sensitive paw pads, they compare the temperature of various zones of your body until they find the hot spot. Your ribcage and abdomen generate the most heat due to the work of internal organs, and the cat figured this out a long time ago. This behavior intensifies in winter not because the cat suddenly loved you more in December, but because the gap between the room temperature and her body becomes critical, and your value as a biological radiator increases. Fifthly, this is a planned campaign for your awakening. Sometimes a cat does not just walk over you to lie down. She might sit on your face, purr directly into your ear, or gently touch your nose with a paw until you open your eyes. A study by the University of Zurich confirmed that cats have incredibly accurate internal clocks. They can predict feeding times with an accuracy of up to 15 minutes. Cats are crepuscular animals. Their peak activity falls at dawn. When you are in the phase of deep sleep around 5 in the morning, your cat's biological clock signals the start of prime time. If you feed her around this time, she will start her campaign in advance, just to make sure you haven't forgotten your duties. But there is also a second reason: boredom. If during the day the pet has not spent its energy supply, this surplus of fuel is released exactly when you're trying to rest. And here, many owners make a mistake. If you get up and feed the cat after such nightly strolls, you are not solving the problem. You are training her to do it more often. She quickly understands. Trampling on the face at 5 in the morning gets a result. And as soon as this neural connection is fixed, it will be extremely difficult to break it. Sixthly, they do it because you are their mom. Remember I spoke about the deepest reason rooted in childhood? If your cat doesn't just walk over you, but begins to perform those very rhythmic paw movements, alternately releasing claws, what we call massaging or kneading dough, this is the most powerful emotional signal she can give. This process is called the milk tread. Kittens do this when they suckle mother's milk to stimulate its flow. This instinct does not disappear with age. When an adult cat climbs onto you in the middle of the night and begins this ritual, the same centers of pleasure and safety are activated in her brain as in the first weeks of life. At this moment, your warmth, the rhythm of your breathing, and the sound of your heart create for her an ideal imitation of a maternal presence. She is not just walking over you. She is returning to the safest place she has ever known. To her, you are not just an owner. You are the guarantor of safety and a source of unconditional comfort. You are to her that very mom, next to whom she can finally relax and close her eyes in full confidence that the world around is stable,